Welcome, everybody, to the Farm to School podcast, where you will hear stories of how you thrive and farmers prosper when we learn how to grow, cook, and eat delicious, nutritious, local foods across the country.
In schools.
In schools.
Across the country.
Didn't I say that?
It's like the first time you've ever said this.
You guys don't hear the 20 times we record our intro either. So just be lucky that this one made the cut.
I'm going to tattoo my arm with it so that I don't have to keep pulling it up.
Sometimes
I think I'd have it memorized.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I say it like now I'm looking at a screen and I turned into mush mouth, but
that's all good. I'm really excited about this episode.
Over. I am too. This is another in our continuing series of the Farm to Cafeteria Conference in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah, that was hosted by the National Farm to School Network.
Yep. And you and our co-host of du jour was Christy Sheridan from the Henry Ford.
Correct.
At the time.
It was so good.
So thank you, Christy, for kicking this off. But we talked to Patrick Garmong.
Patrick.
And he's from, I think, Mississippi, the Institute of Child Nutrition. And let me pull up another screen here.
Yeah. And the Institute for Child Nutrition, if you don't already know them, are premier training for child nutrition programs. So the folks who in schools and who buy the food, the sponsors of the programs, National School Lunch and Breakfast Program, there's a lot to it. And there's a lot of things there. And so
what really makes this neat, I think, and Michelle thinks, is like we talk to you guys all the time about our 10-year vision and our 10-year goals. And one of our goals
for the state of Oregon. And
one of our goals is local food access for all. And that's kind of the one I'm in charge of leading from time to time. And so every student in early childhood education or K-12 schools who participate in a child nutrition program has access to foods grown, caught, gathered, raised, and or processed locally. So with that in mind, like right in if you Google farm to school counts, you'll go to these goals and the local food access for all. What I like to see in here, like right below that goal, it says each community defines what counts as local for food for itself. We aim to have 100% of child nutrition programs provide access to locally sourced foods, with 1/3 of all food purchased by child nutrition programs is sourced within Oregon. So
okay, wait. We got to hang out there for a second.
Why?
That's amazing.
That is.
A state said 1/3 of all food purchased in child nutrition programs can come from Oregon?
Yeah. And so like we said, we try to have these goals in mind when we're doing everything. So what our framework, when we're doing we have a state grant that reimburses local school districts and CACFP, child and adult care food programs, for getting reimbursed for local food. That's the whole thing. So if we want 100% of all children to have access to that, we have to figure out how to get all of our programs to not opt out, because some people do and stuff like that. So anyway.
Well, and it's important to know, like, well, if you know where you want to go, you have to know where you are. And so we're so grateful that the USDA has their farm to school census. So based on, the 2023 numbers, which is the last census, Oregon had 85% of child nutrition programs are serving local foods. So that's K through 12. And Oregon's is a little even more ambitious because we include early ECE, early childcare. And then into 023, if you include fluid milk, it included about 19% of the child nutrition program's budgets were spent on local foods.
So we're on our way.
We are crushing it.
Yeah.
And I always think we've come this far with what we've had. So we need to do something different, because if we're going to do the next increment of, go from 19 to 30%, like we need some new tools and to meet some new people. And that's why I was super excited to interview Patrick.
Yeah. And if you scroll down, if you go to our websites and look at that goal of food access, local food access for all, there's a bunch of different strategies. And our one that Michelle was just pointing out to me, our strategy number 3, provide technical assistance and training to buyers so that every meal produced has the knowledge, skills, motivation, and resources to make their local food purchasing goals a reality. So that ties in really perfectly with this episode.
The Institute of Child Nutrition is a gem.
Yeah, they've been around forever. They used to be called, what were they before the ICN?
I don't know. You were the nutrition.
I was,
director.
But it's where our nutrition service people do a lot of their training using this wonderful operation. So,
all right, we'll enjoy the conversation.
Okay.
There are so many amazing people to meet at the 2025 National Farm to Cafeteria Conference. And we even have fellow podcasters. Patrick! Woo-woo! Tell us what you're up to. Yeah.
Well, I'm here at the conference right now. Just we have a table here exhibiting for the Institute of Child Nutrition, and then also trying to catch a few episodes recording for the Mix Up, which is the podcast we host through the Culinary Institute of Child Nutrition.
So what's up with the Culinary Institute of Nutrition? Tell us about what you do.
Yeah. So I guess to start from the beginning, in 2018, USDA and the Institute of Child Nutrition identified that we're trying to ask operators to get back to more speed and scratch-based cookery, and yet those skill sets had not really been anything that had been focused on in an actual training platform offered by either the Institute or by USDA. They had a little bit of training infrastructure built out for it, but it wasn't as intentional as we needed it. So they did a national search to spin up this program, and I threw my name in there and into the ring thinking I won't even get a phone call. And next thing you know, boom, here I am. So
here you are.
So I mean, our goal is to help operators identify where they want to go, meet them where they're at, and then help them get there. We do not take that white hat approach that others have taken, where they come in and
white hat.
Well, they come in kind of like that savior mentality and tell people how they're doing it wrong, and instead of coaching, mentoring, leading, growing.
I thought
them.
you meant chef hat. This is where my brain went.
Yeah.
Mine too.
Yeah.
I was thinking ratatouille.
I thought.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I'm so sorry.
I mean, it's kind of intentional, right? I mean, the toque is the white hat, right? And there's some that come in with that I'm a chef and I know everything mentality, and we really focus on not being that type of operator and leaning in that direction. We want to help folks grow from where they're at.
Love that.
And bring them along rather than just going in and basically destroying them and making them feel terrible while you're trying to coach and mentor and lead them. That's just not a recipe for success.
Not an effective model.
No.
That has been a theme, actually, of a lot of people we have been interviewing.
Meeting them where they're at.
Yeah, we just talked to Erica and Alex from Pilot Light and Erica Curry, and they also work with the education component. So you're talking about the cafeteria. You know, they're in the classroom and community component being like, well, what's your goal?
Right.
And it just, what I'm realizing is, you know, over the last 15 years plus of this movement, how much capacity we have built up and technical expertise in so many different areas collectively.
Yeah, no, I mean, the massive expansion just I started in the child nutrition space in 2014. Right when Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act really went into play with all the new regs. So it's kind of interesting coming in at that moment in time where the program's really shifted to more regulatory, but just seeing the lack of resources in that moment to where we're at now, where it's almost like you got these allied orgs and then different consulting companies almost pouring over each other to try to, you know, help and get into the space and keep doing things. So are there gaps out there that we still need to address? Absolutely. But there's so many great orgs out there that want to help and want to do good in this space. And I think for the most part, they're all fairly aligned in what that end goal is. Mm-hmm. Obviously, some have their different viewpoints on things that might be more indicative of maybe where their funding's coming from. It might be more sustainability or more plant-based or something like that. But I think at the end of the day, the end goal is to just ensure that we're feeding students sound, nutritious, healthy foods that taste great, and we can start developing those lifelong relationships with food for kids.
Yeah, that's the education component right there, really, isn't it?
Comes together. Mm-hmm. Could you break down more? You mentioned speed or scratch.
Yes.
And or scratch. Could you break that down more? And then, like, what do you actually really do?
Right. So, first of all, I've been trying to move us away from the term speed or scratch cooking.
Okay.
Because the word cooking elicits the idea that it's a heat application. So that it also means that maybe we're taking more time and energy and effort to cook something. But there's a lot of things that can be done scratch or speed scratch that don't require heat, right? Making salad dressings, doing cut fruit, things like that are like fresh. And so what we're trying to do is change the narrative and from speed scratch and scratch cooking to speed scratch food production, scratch food production. So just kind of like opening it up the conversation a little bit more, because I think the word cooking to so many is just a barrier to entry. They get nervous, like, oh, now we don't know how to cook, especially when you start looking at some of the smaller, more rural districts that don't have the infrastructure in place with, a dietitian, a chef, the culinary expertise, all those things to like really start ramping up that thing. So if we kind of change the narrative a little bit, make it more approachable, I think we might get a better response rate on people wanting to jump in and start working in the space a little bit more.
And then speed or I'm belaboring. I'm belaboring just because I'm like,
no.
It's a good question.
So to me, and the way we look at it at CICN is when we're talking about speed scratch, that is taking value added items. So like your USDA direct foods, like maybe
what's that? What's a value-added item?
like an unseasoned, unbreaded chicken strip.
Okay.
Right now, how can we then incorporate that into a dish that we're making, putting together with some more fresh ingredients or marrying ingredients. So it's bringing components together that aren't just put on a tray, bake, and serve. Right?
Got it.
So it's marrying those value added items. And then like more of the scratch based is really taking things from a whole state and then elevating it, through cookery.
So you would like take local tomatoes and make a marinara sauce. That's scratch?
Yeah, but I mean, you can also buy canned diced tomatoes, and that would still kind of be scratch too, right? I mean, if you're dicing the onions, sweating them down, adding the garlic, adding in the canned tomato product, thing like that, right? Absolutely, that would still be scratch because you're going to find that most Italian restaurants, they're still buying canned tomato, right? So, but like to use that fresh tomato example, if you're making like a fresh pico de gallo, right, with fresh tomatoes, that would totally be a scratch recipe because you're using diced onion, diced tomato, cilantro. Now, could that be also speed scratch if you're buying pre-diced, right? And you're just adding the components together, maybe, right? So it just depends on what lens you want to look through, on how far down the rabbit hole you want to go with like, oh, we're scratch or we're speed scratch. But I think we all need to be honest too in this space that no one will ever have a fully scratch kitchen in the K-12 space, right? Like if we're making our own ketchup at that point, like we've probably done something too far down the road.
Wow.
In Oregon, we actually have Portlandia ketchup.
Oh my gosh, that is the best ketchup.
See, okay.
Yeah.
What? I want to taste some Portlandia ketchup.
It's in schools. And they come to our school nutrition association.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's like more tomato paste based than like your other that are a little runnier. So it like really clings to whatever you're putting. Oh, it's so good.
Portlandia, if you're listening, I'm in Michigan and I would like some of your ketchup.
They don't even know. They don't know me.
They will, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to talk about Oregon a little more.
Yeah,
Yes.
please.
Because we have this really ambitious 10-year vision to do 5 things, but 2 of them really, Patrick, I feel like connect with you. And one is local food access for all. So that's about getting the food in,
Right.
which is about nutrition services, procuring, preparing, and serving.
Yeah.
And we realized that's not going to happen without a whole other goal area related to leadership and professional development.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
That's you. That's
that's literally,
wow, that is
what,
exactly
what
it.
ICN does, right? I mean, even though our name is Institute of Child Nutrition, our focus is developing the workforce that serves children, right? Whether it's in schools, CACFP, summer, whatever. We're a workforce development organization. So I think sometimes people don't look at us through that lens because of just our name, the Institute of Child Nutrition. So I think, oh, you're all about feeding kids. Well, yeah, but it's about developing the people that feed the kids, right? And really trying to professionalize the industry and, again, meet people where they're at, but get them to the level they need to be at to be able to operate these programs efficiently and effectively.
So what does that really look like on a day in the life of Patrick?
Ooh,
There's probably no single day in the life of Patrick that's standard. I'll have office days where I'm doing either leadership style work, where it's working on budgets, statements of work, going through deliverables, that kind of stuff, or it's developing. We did a lot of development early on when I started because the materials we had were dated and needed just a whole new relaunch. So, I mean, we developed for CACFP. There's 8 4-hour face-to-face trainings that we worked on. For schools, there's I don't know, 15 or so, 12, 15, something like that we wrote. And then we also have like 51 culinary quick bites, which are short format video trainings that incorporate some activities, a video infographic that all focus on a very specific skill set. So folks can be able to train their staff during production. So one example is like in our knife skill set, there's breaking down pineapple. If your staff hasn't broken down pineapple before it's fresh, or maybe they just need a refresher, order in the pineapple, bring the staff in, show them the video, have them start doing the activity. Maybe it takes an hour to break down all the pineapple for them all, but now you're using that pineapple on the service line, right? So that's production hours. So you're not wasting food. You can count that hour of them cutting pineapple for professional standards. So now you're getting a CEU out of production time, right? So the whole concept of there's no time to train, I'm trying to erase
You're
that
building
narrative.
it into the...
Yeah.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So we've got 51 of them, and some are on knife skills, some are on basic cooking techniques, like how to brown ground meat in a tilt skillet. I just, people might not know that if they've, have not had a professional cooking experience, haven't worked commercially, right? Their biggest meal they ever made was Thanksgiving for 30 at, home, right? And now you have to make lunch for 400 students. We need to develop their skill set to be able for them to move forward.
Is this where, and we were fortunate to spend a little bit of time with you yesterday evening, is this where your time as being a chef comes into play? Like with all of that, because how do you develop those standards, like to cook green beef and the knife skills and all of that? Is that you or is it a team?
Yeah, well, I will say first and foremost, none of this has ever been all me. There's always an amazing team of people that we're working with, whether we have brought in consultants to help us with some of the development, whether it's people from our team, people at the Institute that are behind the scenes, that like our graphic designers and our editors and, those folks that people don't even ever see. Like they're so deeply involved in these projects as well. Even
Shout
the people
out to them, though.
and the people that are writing the contracts for us and the grants management team, like there's so many people that are behind the scenes to allow this work to even happen, and they really are the heroes of it. Sorry, I just want to plug them for a second.
No, absolutely. This is your moment.
But yeah, no, I mean, it takes a collective, right, to be able to put these things out, and it's interesting too because like you think about something like cutting a bell pepper, right? You get 5 chefs and 5 bell peppers. And we're all probably going to cut it a little bit different, right? Some have the technique where they come all the way down from top to bottom and peel it like they're peeling a melon. That's my preferred because I feel like you get zero waste. Others like to cut off the tops and bottoms and do the rolling technique. I mean, I've seen so many different ways that people do it. So it's kind of fun because we're able to develop some standards, but then when we have our chefs go out and train, they're like, well, this is the way the infographic's showing it, but this is also another way you can do it, because sometimes it's just that other way that clicks with people too, right? So the unfortunate term, there's more than one way to skin a cat, kind of applies with some of the things we do in cookery,
or
right?
to chop an onion.
Or to chop an onion.
Yeah. No cats in the lunchroom.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry.
Unless that's the school's mascot.
I was going to say, but I was like, oh, we're the Canby Cougars.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you do any, speaking of that, training for like food educators outside the cafeteria? I'm thinking that cafeteria community garden component, like school garden educators or?
Right. Yeah. So the Institute really is focused on just training the operators and the programs,
Cool. Okay.
right? So that's an area where, and this is something I've been really focused on in probably the last 12 months, is identifying how the Institute should be more foundational, setting the foundation for programs to exceed, excel, and then some of like the cool extras that programs do, right? The sustainability, the classroom nutrition education, those things, those are where other great allied organizations are able to come in and carry that mantle to the next level, right? So like, rather than us trying to be a jack of all trades, should we be that foundation setter and then allow the others in the space to, not allow, that's kind of a weird way to say it, but not co-opt the space, right? Like allow others to, there I go again, create space where others are able to enter and then take things to the next level.
Yeah, you're doing things in partnership with other people.
Yeah,
I like that,
absolutely.
aligned. Speaking of, I want to go back to actually one of the very first things you said. You had mentioned gaps. You said there's so many people in this space and that there's gaps. Like I know you're a big picture forward thinker.
Right.
You are your systems. And so I'm just curious, like, where do you see gaps or potential for other allied partners to pop up?
That's a great question. So one of the things that I really have been focusing on as well and on top of trying to set the foundation is making some of these connections with different allied organizations to see if there's a way that we can start maybe scaffolding some of our training. So it's not just the ICN or CICN parachuting in, providing a training. It's 4 hours, 8 hours, it's over. But partnering with other orgs that then can like take that next level, right? Like how are we going to operationalize that training component? So one of the conversations I've been having is with an organization that does a lot of peer-to-peer learning to try to help build out capacity. Cool. So exploring maybe those peer leaders hosting a training, bringing in area child nutrition programs to receive the training. So we would do the training in the morning, and the afternoon would be filled with like roundtable sessions and panel discussions about like, okay, this is what we learned today. This is how we've gone and operationalized some of these things. So they have, operators in the field that can bounce ideas and things and strategies off of, right, that are currently operating. Because, I operated for 5 years as a child nutrition director, but I've been 7 years now at the Institute. There's been a shift in how things. I didn't operate during COVID, right? So there's already that like blind spot I have on that aspect of things.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like there's a giant ice maker.
Yeah, I cannot figure out what that noise is.
It's right around the corner, and so is it an ice maker?
Poor Patrick.
I can't
Michelle
see.
and I are making faces, and I'm like, you're answering this eloquently, and I'm distracted by this ice maker. I don't think it's that. It's got to be something else.
So if our listeners doubted for a moment that we were recording live
in a hallway
we are like so recording
conference
live.
room,
it could not be liver. Yeah,
liver.
It's actually
liver, cookery. You have more language than we've had in any other episode.
Scaffolding
right.
resonated with me, and I was like, nope, I get it though. Building, parachuting,
braided funding. Braided partnerships.
Yes.
That's a term I recently was like,
oh, I like that. But that's kind of what you're trying to do, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have to be somewhat careful because of how we're funded and
how are you funded? Let's hear about this.
So the Institute is funded. Currently, our model is that, so we were written into law to exist under the Richard B. Russell Act.
Okay.
So we have a statutory grant that is $5 million annually.
Okay. And this is federal.
This is all federal, yes. And then we're also funded through USDA through cooperative agreements. Those are discretionary funds. So if you watch the news at all recently, the statutory required to distribute, discretionary, discretion, right? So with our grant, we get about 60% of our total funding. It's the cooperative agreements that really are able to allow us to do more of the training and development and those pieces. The grant really is basically just kind of covers our operational pieces, be able to have our learning management system, our LMS, and all the tech and employees and things like that. But like to be able to get out and do the trainings and deploy them, we need those cooperative agreements to be able to fund those activities. So, and like the CICN is fully funded through a cooperative agreement. So if the funding doesn't come in, the program dissolves. So, yeah.
That's sad. Let's not talk about that.
I was like, sad face emoji.
Yeah.
As I was like, is there emojis?
Do you guys have to fundraise at all?
So because we are written into law as an entity, like
you can't.
It's kind of been a new area for us this year. I'll put it that way because there was some questions whether or not our funding would be available. Just with the new administration, new priorities, things shift, right? So, we're starting to identify if we need to start pivoting in how we operate, and all of our resources are provided to our end users at no cost, which is great for them. It should be that way, right? It's USDA programs that we need to be training them, right? And it shouldn't be charging the program to receive training on how to implement the USDA standards and practices, right?
Okay, wait.
Makes sense.
We could unpack that, but yes.
Yeah. So, so we've definitely been in an exploration phase a little bit. So
I know it's like bake sale. Do you want some Rotopia vegetable character stickers as a fundraiser? I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, other things we have done though in the past is like sometimes state agencies will want to do something more robust with us than what we just have as our standard offerings. So they'll do like a outside contract with us.
Okay.
So we'll go do like a big training blitz over several months and send consultants and contractors down there to do all that training with them. And that way we're leaving the funds available for the other states in the nation to be able to access these programs, but they're paying for our services.
Did you say what state you guys you're in? Are you nationwide?
So we're nationwide.
Okay.
So the Institute is located at the University of Mississippi in Oxford, Mississippi. But we have several remote staff as well. So like I live in Washington State.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Or
Pacific Northwest?
Or in hotel rooms across the country.
Coming to a courtyard near you?
Yeah, no,
I'll get back to the sad face emoji. And people are always like, "That's so great. You travel for your job." You're like, I leave my farm. Although I am happy to see you too.
It's a delightful surprise.
It's so nice to see the faces, right? And meet new people and intersect and network and all that. But it is challenging to be on the road all the time and away from family.
Yeah,
and,
juggling family and your own like social life and all of that. It's fun. Good question.
I was
Did you hear me stutter? Good question.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I probably have more friends in like the K-12 space now than I do in like my personal life, just because I'm at these things so often, intersecting, and so.
Tell me about it.
Someone once made a analogy that they start off as your colleagues, and then kind of become your peers and your friends, and then eventually these people kind of become your family, right? That you're just so deeply connected. Yeah, some of us might really become family.
So being
the lucky few.
Being here at the conference, like, tell us about your experience.
Yeah, so this has actually been kind of a refreshing conference for me because I haven't been a presenter, which usually I have several sessions at a conference. So it's been really nice to be able to just work the exhibit table, network, connect with people, record a couple podcasts, and just be in the space rather than having to be on stage and be on and present the entire time in terms of having to be a presenter. So it's been a little bit more relaxing for me, which has been nice. So I've been able to network
immerse
a lot
yourself.
more. Yeah. So unfortunately I haven't been able to get to any sessions yet, just because of timing but
there's still time.
There's still time, and there's
a
much
lot of great
stuff
vendors here too, which
absolutely.
we haven't had a chance to really dig into. Well, Patrick, is there anything else you would like our listening audience to know?
I think the biggest takeaway being in this space right now is that there is a huge movement towards bringing more whole, fresh products to the table, to the cafeteria tray, to doing that. But we have to start training our people, investing in that training component in order for them to be able to be successful with it, because we can't just have these flash in the pan initiatives that feel good in the moment, but we're not building out capacity for them to be long-term and long-lasting. And that only really comes through sound, continuous training.
Snapping.
Thank you.
You're
Patrick,
welcome.
you're amazing. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Hey, Patrick, thank you so much for making time to talk with us, and listeners for listening. And guess what? We have a treat for you. Go check out ICN Podcast. Patrick is the Mix-Up, and there's so much more podcasts that you can listen from him.
Okay. The content and ideas of the Farm to School podcast do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Oregon State University or the United States Department of Agriculture. The USDA, Oregon State University are equal opportunity providers and employers.
And the Farm to School was written, directed, and produced by Rick Sherman and Michelle Markiston, with production support from thanks Leanne Lochner and Lauren Toby of Oregon State University. This podcast was made possible in part by a grant from the United States Department of Agriculture.
Please bear with us as we learn how to talk again. Do you want to learn more?
What'd you call it? Was it this episode? Mushmouth.
I know. This is the... Never again. Moving on. Do you want to learn more about Farm to School, Michelle?
Sure.
Check out other episodes, show notes, contact information, and much more by searching the Farm to School podcast, OSU.
Actually, we really would love to hear from you. It always is so empowering and inspiring to hear your stories and meet you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
See you next time.
Bye.
That was pretty